Hi everyone, three dynamite cryptos to share with you today in the Altcoin Bible, my favorite episode of the week. We're going to look at Solana, SHIB, and Singularity, three cryptos that I don't normally share or have featured in recent memory. I've really been trying to stick to lower risk, more trusted cryptocurrencies, been around for a little while. Now you could make the case SHIB and Solana maybe in that bracket, but I'm not going to make that argument. We've been featuring a lot Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin, and a few others. They still look interesting charts in themselves. I could definitely pull out a cherry ripe one to watch in a danger zone from the usual mix, but I thought let's keep it fresh. Let's look at something else. And I wanted to focus firstly on my cherry ripe, which you may have guessed if you're watching the charts, but it is actually AGIX, a Singularity coin, rather Singularity.net. Why I've put this in here is one, not only do the technicals really take my interest for a cherry ripe to have a further upside move, but two, I'm seeing, and sometimes when you're looking at crypto charts, you really want to have a nice narrative or trend to marry with a crypto to give it a really lovely boost. And what I've been seeing, for the past few weeks and on Twitter, is a growing mention of AI, either in the positive or the negative. Right now, it's a lot of negative stuff. We have Elon Musk coming out, and he's a lightning rod for crypto prices and movements like that. But he's been coming out and being very not so much negative, but saying we need to slow down this development. There's not enough checks and balances on AI. Anyway, it's all through the news and marketing. So there is signal in the noise, and that's where you can look for these sort of things to happen. And what we are kind of seeing is AGX having a pretty lovely move out of a downward trend, and now it is consolidating within I want to say a downward channel, but for me it looks like a flag. So I'm really interested in the AGX here because it's got that narrative, it's got the TA. So this is the 1 hour chart. I'm actually going to start a little bit differently today. I'm going to go zoomed in and I'm going to zoom out. So for mine, if we look here at AGIX, it's all this price action previously, massive dip here, right-hand side. The thing with AGIX as well is it's a relatively new crypto in terms of lifespan. So there's not a tremendous amount of data previously of price action. So you really have to play the ball as it lies and look at sort of its recent price action here. And that's what I'm focused on here. To me, this looks like a pretty clear inverse head and shoulders. You got the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder here. But let's say that pattern doesn't play out, and it looks like it really has tried to not play out. If we're just looking at this section here, this box that I've just kind of indicated with my cursor there, if we look at here, the price action here, AGX tried to make a new all-time high. Maybe it did. Yeah, I think it did on this exchange, on Binance particularly. It ran up there and then just got sold into heavily. You can see here, ever since the high up here, it is just very similar to 69,000 Bitcoin. It's one of those things where when these cryptos make a high, it can be very difficult to tell when it's reversed for good and it's not coming back. But just looking at this, the trend is very clear. You can just see this trend line downwards, and every time it's like a beach ball. It's like a ball that's bouncing and it's getting weaker and weaker each time. Each wick into the trend line is lower, so lower highs, just descending down this trend line. So that is very interesting to watch, and you really want to watch when it does something like this. When it breaks that trend, you need to pay attention. That's where you can make a ton of money. And if you have a look here, it's just been trending down, and then down here, what did it do? Broke that trend. And so I just deleted that line there. Forget about all these moving averages in here for now, but just have a look here. Blitzed up, came back down, ducked beneath, bit of a fake out there, and then decided to bounce off these moving averages, come back up again, ran back down to the trend line. So really playing with people's emotions, just how volatile AGIX is. So you do have to be a little bit careful if you are trading this. If you're investing in this, for the longer term, this sort of stuff doesn't matter. But you could be looking to buy lower as well. So this all looked really nice. Again, the volatility looks quite extreme on the 1 hour, but just wanted to show you this. So the break of the trend here, very clear. You can see since it broke the trend here, it has been up. So here, break from there has been a 23%, 22% move up. What's it doing here? It is now consolidating again into that channel or descending channel that's going sideways. A bit of a flag for mine. I love these patterns. Generally, it shows continuation. So it's a break here from the new trend, or break from the old trend into a new one. Excuse me. And now, we're hopefully going to see a break up. We tried to do it here, couldn't break out the first time. We're going to see what it does next. But for mine, this looks really positive. Had a bit of a fake out or a breakdown to the downside to this 200 on the 1 hour. Bounce back into the top of the channel, and we can just probably extend that now a little bit underneath. And now it's trying to run again. This looks really good to me. It's on top of this volume support on the right hand side. It's held key moving averages. This looks like a no-brainer to me. I'd be very interested here. You know, these kind of buy areas are very, very interesting, especially in this massive volume cluster. Next sort of port of call is, you know, 49 cents. That could be a sell zone, and maybe 54 cents. I think, you know, around the highs of the previous one, and leaving a bit to run after that. So I'd be very, very interested in that. These sort of consolidations after a break are really, really healthy. And the reason why they are so healthy is because it allows the momentum indicators. You can see down here, I've got the stock RSI and the RSI, time to reload. Now, you can look at other indicators as well, the momentum and the rate of change, all that, depending how advanced you want to get. But for mine, if you want these charts to continue to move higher in a very measured, sustainable way, and you want those higher prices that you're all looking for, you need to see steady, sustained growth, pulse up, accumulation sideways, you know, grinding, allow people to take profits, distribute, new buyers come in, and then you have the next wave higher, like a staircase. And that's exactly what I'm seeing here with AGIX. So yeah, pretty bullish on this chart here, and it is my cherry ripe for the week, as we stated at the start. All right, Shiba Inu, everyone's second favorite doggy coin. It might be a few people's first favorite doggy coin after or instead of Doge and whatnot. It generally runs as a bit of a, you know, proxy to Doge. If Doge is running, Shiba Inu will try and run as well. In previous times, Shiba Inu has actually ran harder than Doge. If Doge runs 20%, Shiba Inu would run 50, you know, 60. Those sort of things have kind of changed that dynamic. If Doge runs now, you know, recently did 20%, Shiba Inu is only up 5%, you know, something like that. So yeah, it's a different dynamic, but Shiba Inu now is plotting a different path by the looks, with layer 2s and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm watching here, and excuse me, and why I'm interested in Shiba just here for this sort of trade here, is it's been quiet for a while, but it is gaining in strength. And I'll just zoom in here. Now, this is a reasonably crude pattern. I don't care if it's not perfect and whatnot. It's there to illustrate the broader trend. So here we can see that, you know, SHIB made a bit of a low here at, let's just say 966. It's been bouncing. So you see here, higher low. So wick. And each time it's come up to confirm this ceiling. So 1150, give or take, that kind of area. See wick. Again, you can play around with this line. You can also draw it back to other previous. I'm not going to do that. I'm just showing you here. And now we're grinding up and consolidating at resistance here. We're above key volume levels on the right-hand side. We're using very key levels and moving averages as support on the way higher. This just looks to me like it wants to pop, you know, come up to these sort of levels, 1200, 1300, wants to kind of, you know, form this almost bowl sort of shape, come up very similar to AGIX, what it's done, and similar to Litecoin as well. Then you might see that consolidation down before high. You get these cup and handles type formations. For mine, exactly like I said with AGIX, these types of consolidations, when they do decisively break, and if this breaks to the upside, you really want to have a look where the momentum's positioned, because right now the momentum through the stock RSI, which is an indicator on the RSI essentially, that's pointing down. So it is reloading. So momentum is actually decreasing. Rather, the bulls are just sort of reloading. They're biding their time. Sellers are increasing the pressure, but price is actually grinding higher, and that's a really positive sign, kind of like a divergence there. And you can look at it both ways, but in these type of consolidations, that's how I look at it. And here for a positive break, say we break above, you want to see the RSI just, you know, blitz through this trend line, your stock blitz as well. Then SHIB's in a really strong place for continuation high. So and really see, you know, SHIB here as a positive. You know, for the bulls, if you're interested as a buyer, I'm very interested in here. You know, you can wait for the failure here and maybe layer in some bids. You can overlay the Fibonacci retracement over this small little area here. Again, this is 4 hour, not the daily, so a little bit more zoomed in. These are the kind of levels we want to look at. But if we just go in here as well, we're already seeing this level, the 0.5, so 50% retracement from that high has already been tagged a few times. It's confluent with the 50 moving average on the 4 hour, which, look, in this recent phase, the 4 hour charts and those 50s and 100s moving average has been very well adhered to. So that there looks like a really, really strong level. So if this is the area you'd be very interested in. If it breaks that and you're looking at these lower areas, you know, 0.786, but right now it's showing a bit of strength. So like what I'm seeing, cherry ripe, yeah. All right, my danger zone, good old Solana. Now, it's had a heck of a run, and yeah, I mean, 28% from the lows, that's just really, really nice. It's getting a lot of eyeballs and whatnot on Solana at the moment, but I just want to throw a bit of cold water on it. Now, I'm going to throw it out there as well. Litecoin, I've been plugging as my cherry right for the last few weeks. It tagged, you know, 100, 101, 102, 103. In my eyes, that's kind of continue to go higher over the midterm, towards the halving. But right now, it looks very, very similar to Sol. And that is, if you go down to the 4-hour chart, look at the daily and elsewhere, it's showing a very clear bearish divergence. And I want to make everyone very, very aware of this. So again, this is Sol, it's not Litecoin, but similar dynamics at play. Solana here, and just super, super visually easy to assess, is these two peaks. So one peak here is there, second peak there is higher than the last, right? So that to you might look reasonably good. It's pulsed up, had a second one, made a new yearly high, so that's great. But if you look down at the momentum indicators here, stock RSI is absolutely to the floor. Okay, so that's fine. You might think, okay, it's ready to reload. But if you're looking at it here, that second peak, higher than last up here, but on momentum indicators, bulls are just trailing away massively. And that's a dead giveaway. That's a bearish divergence. Where bears are actually slowly gaining control in these areas. Bulls are weakening in that strength, and now we're seeing that pull away. And you've got this lower high over here for mine. Sol's coming back, I reckon, down some of that area. You can maybe go to the daily, see if there's any moving averages, or maybe go to the 1 hour, see what's going on down there. But for mine, that is a pretty ugly, near parabolic, trying to rising sort of channel, which I think is going to come back down to meet this. Well, there you go. So that's the 20 moving average on here. I reckon that's a no-brainer. Sol's coming down in this area here for mine, because it really, if you look back here, this breakout of this, say, this very crude channel for Solana, it hasn't actually had the breakout and then come back to retest the pattern, and this looks like it actually wants to do it. That's actually a very bullish thing if it does that, and has a bounce and moves high. Very, very bullish. But right now, we're actually in the phase where we're expecting the correction. So that's where you kind of have to look at things. And then on the daily, it's a bit more obvious as well. The stock RSI is really rolling over. Bullish momentum here is rolling over as well. So yeah, again, a few things to consider, but that is why it's my danger zone. So very interesting entry areas around 22, 21, 20 on top of that. But yeah, I'm not an interested buyer in these areas. I'd be selling, to be honest. So guys, hope you've enjoyed this altcoin Bible. We'll catch you again for our next episode. Bye.